So the winner does move on to the finals. I guess that's how the game works. So we'll see how this should start.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna be able to hear you guys.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Well, we just don't say anything that.
Alright.
So Shawn's gonna lead with Tapu Koko MP2, while Remy's gonna lead with the Xurkitree and Ninetales. So very interesting.
Okay. Xurkitree's not like exactly threatened here, so
Yeah.
it could, if it wants to, it can elect to Tail Glow here. But
Yeah, we don't know how much, how close this team is to Sam's team, but yeah, this Xurkitree is not really being threatened right now. And the Ninetales, you know, it could go for something like Aurora Veil, or if Blizzard would do a ton of damage to this Tapu Koko. So Tapu Koko is not really in a good spot here, and he gave Electric Terrain to the Xurkitree, so it can give it even more damage.
Right, yeah.
So this could be a problem for Shawn, but we'll see.
And like Garchomp is the main check to Xurkitree, but with that Ninetales on the field, that definitely.
Yeah, Garchomp does
Put
not
some
like
pressure.
fighting Ninetales.
Exactly.
Not even an AV Chomp would like that. But Shawn's going to go for the Taunt onto the Ninetales. Very good. So the Ninetales won't be able to go for Aurora Veil. But the Xurkitree is going to go for Tail Glow.
Ooh.
So he's going to get a +3 on a special attack. So this is very bad for Shawn. And while the Porygon's going to go for the return onto the Xurkitree, he's going to do about almost 50%. And Ninetales try and go for the Roar, but however, it got taunted, so it won't be able to Roar. Remy try and read for maybe a Trick Room, but Shawn did not go for that. Instead, he just went for the damage. And that return did a lot of damage to the Xurkitree.
Right. I think that play worked out for Shawn because getting the attack boost and then getting that stab return really did it really put a lot more pressure on Xurkitree than Remy could have ever anticipated. And then with the taunt preventing Ninetales from basically setting up or doing anything, like that Ninetales, if it's actually Sam's and doesn't have Blizzard, then it's basically a sitting duck right now. I mean, it can Icy Wind.
It can Icy Wind, and you know, Koko should not be able to take a +3 Dazzling Gleam, I don't think.
So I think a question is whether the Koko can knock out the Xurkitree from this range. Like
Maybe if it's a Z move Koko, it could do that, but
Life Orb Gleam. I mean, it depends on the Xurkitree spread. It depends on Koko.
Yeah, so we're gonna see. So Xurkitree is gonna go for a Protect here, so it's not gonna be able to take any damage in this turn. Koko is going to go for the Dazzling Gleam onto the Ninetales, so it's going to do some damage, probably bring about 30%. Yep. Ninetales is going to go for the Icy Wind onto the Porygon2 and the Tapu Koko.
If he Trick Room, this could be big.
Yeah, if Shawn read this Trick Room, he could be in a really good position here right now.
Yeah.
And Shawn goes for the Trick Room, a very good play, and now that Tapu Koko is at -1 speed, he will be able to maybe underspeed his Xurkitree. Yes. So the hail damage does prove that Tapu Koko is now going to be faster than Xurkitree in Trick Room. So Shawn went for a very good play here. That was a very good read.
Right. Yeah, no, that was definitely a... You know, he covered everything. Like, if the Xurkitree didn't protect, then it takes a Dazzling Gleam. And then, you know, if it does protect, then Porygon just kills it the next turn.
Yep. So Ninetales is going to switch out to Doggo. So Arcanine coming in, it's going to get intimidated against Porygon2, which is a physical type attacker, so won't be able to do too much damage. So return going on to the Xurkitree is not going to be able to pick up KO. Is it going to be able to activate the berry? It does activate the berry, so it will get 50% of its health back. And meanwhile, Koko is going to go for the Dazzling Gleam. He's going to do a good damage to that the Xurkitree, but it's not going to be able to pick up a KO here. And now the Xurkitree is going to go for its own Dazzling Gleam. It should be able to pick up a KO onto the Tapu Koko, and it does. So Xurkitree is going to get a Beast Boost here, and not only that, but it,
Electric Terrain +4 special attack. That's pretty scary. For sure,
I would not want to deal with that if I was him. Doggo. So all the Pokemon are going to take some more hail damage. That Xurkitree is pretty low now though, so
that was a very good switch from Remy, bringing in the Arcanine just to like intimidate, so like he lives the return and then gets like the berry. Like,
yeah,
that was insane.
Remy did a very good play there, because otherwise Xurkitree would have gone down and Koko would have still been on the field threatening, you know, doing some threat to this Arcanine. But now Muk comes in, so you know, Muk, I doubt it would be able to pick up KO into either one of these Pokemon, but you know, it can go for something like knockoff onto the Arcanine. I don't know if the Xurkitree can survive another return, even if Porygon is
I think it would
a neutral.
Close. I think it should pick up the knockoff though.
Yeah. So we're gonna see. Right now, Porygon2 is at -1 speed, so it's gonna be the slowest thing on the field. So Porygon2 goes for a return onto the Circuitry. Isn't enough to pick up a KO? It is. So Circuitry is going to get knocked out here. So now it's 3-on-3. Muk goes for the knockoff onto this Arcanine. Does a ton of damage.
That's a lot of damage.
And Doggo loses its Mago Berry. And Arcanine goes for the Toxic, but it misses the Porygon2.
Unfortunate.
This is very unfortunate. That Toxic would have paid huge dividends, later on in the game. So
I don't know what Mon Remy can have in the back that can bring him back from this though. P2 Muk is very threatening to his team. Like we've already seen Ninetales, which will die to the Muk, and then Arcanine is practically dead. One more knockoff should do it, or Poison Jab.
It's a little bit rough, but Ninetales.
He sends in the Ninetales.
Yeah, Ninetales comes in. It's gonna be a little bit difficult here because Ninetales is not exactly putting a ton of pressure here into either one of these Pokemon. Muk could go for a Poison Jab onto the Ninetales, and while Porygon2 might be able to knock out this Arcanine with a return. So we'll see. Both players taking the time to decide his turn because it's pretty important. So Shawn does pick his moves. Ninetales is going to withdraw right now.
I figured.
Into the Garchomp. So let's see if Shawn was able to get that read and maybe like doubled up into it with a Ice Beam, but it did not. It go for a return onto this Arcanine, which is going to get knocked out. And now Poison Jab onto the Muk, onto this Garchomp. It's not going to do too much damage, and it's going to take some rough skin damage back. But it does get the poison! Oh my lord. Shawn is getting all the good RNG on his side. So now this Garchomp is on a timer. This poison is going to take down. So, I doubt this will be able to survive an Ice Beam at this point, but we'll see. So Shawn is in a really commanding position at this point. It's up 3-2. Porygon2 has taken some damage, but still, the Ninetales is like heavily threatened by this Muk.
I mean, Trick Room's still up. Maybe does not have Protect. Maybe it does.
Yeah, I don't remember if Sam's team did have Protect, but Trick Room is going to expire after this turn. Right. So if something needs to happen, it needs to happen like right now.
So an interesting thing here is the Porygon can Ice Beam the Garchomp, but then if it protects, it's in range of like perhaps a Ground EMZ the next turn. But if it recovers and Remy predicts that with a Swords Dance, that can also be a game changer.
Yeah,
so
it's going to be it's a 50-50.
It's not completely over.
Yeah, so it's VGC 17 at its finest, 50-50. Flip a coin, pray to God, and hope for the best.
Right.
So Garchomp is going to protect here. Is Ninetales going to do the same? No, it's not, but the P2 does go for that recover, so now won't be able to be knocked out by this Garchomp. Poison Jab from the Muk going onto this Ninetales is going to do a ton of damage, probably going to be able to pick up KO. Yep. It does pick up a KO, so now it's Garchomp versus the world. And, it's going to take some hail damage here. It's also going to take some poison damage. So it's on it's on the timer, and I don't know if Z Earthquake can KO here because
I don't think Garchomp has it in him. He would have to crit Z, ground Z. Like, I'm not even sure if that would kill. And then, like, he takes a knockoff.
Yeah.
He takes more poison and hail. And then Shawn still has another Pokemon in the back.
Yeah, so, yeah, it looks like Shawn is going to be able to take this round, which, it's a lot of information got revealed here. Muk is going to go for the Protect, so it's not going to take too much damage unless he got Z-Move, but I'm going to assume that Z-Move is going to go to the Porygon2 because it is the thing that's threatening the Garchomp right now. Even if he's able to pick up a KO here, the poison damage on the Garchomp is gonna pretty much make him like take one hit from Koko.
Yeah.
So here we go. Ground Gym Z onto this P2. Is it enough with a crit? Nope, not even close. And no crit. So Ice Beam gonna go into this Garchomp. It's gonna pick up a KO unless some miracle happens. No miracle happens, so Garchomp is dead. So Shawn is gonna take game one of this match. So Remy, he could have gone for a little bit more of like some ballsy reads. Maybe going for a Swords Nest that turned that Porygon2 went for recover. Like that could have saved him. Right.
So yeah, I think Remy got some good info that game though.
Yeah.
Like he learned about Taunt on Koko. He learned about like the return Porygon. I think he definitely has what it takes to turn this around.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
we'll see how he adjusts.
yeah, Remy, he had such a huge lead in the beginning, being able to get that tail glow with the circuitry. But, unfortunately, he wasn't able to capitalize on it for the late game. And Shawn was able to just, set himself up. And with the bulk of his Porygon2 and Muk, he was able to just slowly but surely knock out all of his opponent's Pokemon. So game 2, you want to give a rundown of the teams again?
No.
Oh, you don't? Alright. So, Shawn, again, having the Tapu Fini, Tapu Koko, Arcanine, Garchomp, Porygon2, and Muk versus Remy, who has the Ninetales, Garchomp, Tapu Lele, Xurkitree, Mandibuzz, and Arcanine. So, Remy, and they both pick their teams relatively fast. So, this is game 2. Shawn is up 1 game, so if Remy wants to move on to the finals, he's going to have to win 2 games, because that's how it works in the best of 3. In case you don't know.
Thank you for the clarification. I'm sure everyone was wondering that.
Yep. So here we go. Game 2. Let's see what they laid. Shawn's going to leave the same thing he led last time, which is the Porygon2 and the Tapu Koko against the Ninetales and Doggo. So, is Ninetales a dog?
I thought it was a fish.
Oh, it's a fish? Okay. So, we got Ninetales the fish and Doggo the dog against the Tapu Koko and the P2. So, Remy changed his lead, but Shawn did not. And looking at it here, what do you think who has the advantage here?
I mean, it's hard to say because, well, Arcanine probably can live any attack. Like Flare Blitz would do a lot of damage to Koko. I mean, Porygon's not really threatened by anything here.
Yeah.
Except, we did see Toxic.
Yeah, we did see Toxic on the...
We know that Koko has Taunt, but if it goes for Taunt, it's just leaving itself vulnerable to attacks, and then... I don't know.
Oh, P2 is going to switch out here for the Tapu Fini. So Tapu Fini is going to take the field this turn. So no more Electric Ring for Koko, so that does limit the Koko's damage quite a bit now. Tapu Koko is going to go for the Taunt onto this Ninetales, so let's see if Ninetales went for Aurora Veil. It did go for Aurora Veil, and the Tapu Fini is going to be able to get protected from the Mystic Terrain, so no Toxic coming from Doggo. Very good turn from Shawn. He was able to pretty much... was able to make a good switch in, not take any damage other than Hail, and he did not allow Remy to set up with his Ninetales.
Yeah, that was a great play. Fini's in a really good spot now, threatening the Arcanine. Not threatened by anything at all, really, except for a potential like freeze dry wild charge or something random like that. Yep.
So maybe if you can double into the Tapu Fini, but we don't know if even that might not even be able to knock it out depending on the bulk of this Tapu Fini. The screen froze, so I'm just gonna have to. Okay, Xurkitree is gonna switch in for the Ninetales. Dazzling Gleam coming from the Koko. It's gonna do some decent damage to this Xurkitree. Arcanine is going to go for the Flare Blitz onto this Tapu Koko. Is going to do a lot of damage, but not enough to pick up a KO. So let's see if Tapu Fini is going to go for something like a Muddy Water. It does go for Muddy Water. It does connect with both Pokemon. It might be able to pick up a KO here onto this Arcanine and do some good damage to the Xurkitree. It does not pick up KO into either one. Doggo does eat his berry, and now he's going to get back about 50% of his health. So, it looks pretty. It looks pretty okay for Shawn. Like he's still not in the worst of positions here because Remy did take a lot of damage with both his mons that is able to dish out damage.
Right. I think so. We still haven't seen all the moves on Arcanine. If it has extreme speed, then E-speed onto Koko, and then Xurkitree going it's starting with Fini with Thunderbolt or something like that.
Yeah, so if the Arcanine does have something like extreme speed, but it does have Toxic as well, so it it probably has Protect as his last move maybe, but we don't know what the move set is yet.
Right.
We did see the berry, so it is not an AV set. We also saw Toxic, so it could be AV. So Shawn taking his time to pick his moves carefully here.
Right, it's still anybody's game for sure.
So here we go. So Tapu Koko is going to switch out here for the Porygon2. So if it does take an extreme speed, it's not going to take too much damage. And let's see.
Special attack.
Xurkitree is going to go for a Protect. Interesting play here from Remy. Doggo's gonna go for the Bulldoze, so now the Tapu Fini is not gonna be able to. Is gonna. Well, Tapu Fini already undersped the Arcanine, but now it's gonna be even slower. So Muddy Water is gonna connect with the Arcanine. It does. So Arcanine is gonna get knocked out here, and the Xurkitree has taken quite a bit of damage already, and it's not looking particularly great for Remy because he's down to he lost one of his most important damage dealer. It's probably going to activate the Berry with the Hail, so okay, now Xurkitree is get a lot of his health back. You know, it threatens the Fiend quite a bit with something like a Thunderbolt, but this Porygon2, you know, it's free to set up Trick Room here because it's not really going to be threatened by the Xurkitree.
Right, we'll have to see what Remy decides to bring in here. We know he does have Roar on Ninetales, so he can stop Trick Room with Roar.
Yeah, he could. So Roar would be able to stop up the Trick Room here, but you know, but if Shawn does make that read and is like doubles up into the Xurkitree, then it's just Ninetales to do all the damage. Ninetales and whatever he has in the back to do all the damage for the rest of the game.
Like Porygon can honestly just attack, and it should like. Remy just have a great way to hit it. He needs some damage. You know?
Oh, and Xurkitree is going to go for that Thunderbolt onto this Tapu Fini. Is it enough to pick up a KO? It is. So Tapu Fini is going to get knocked out. And Ninetales did not move yet, so it's going to go for a Roar. And now that the Xurkitree is at +1, so Porygon2 does go for the return onto this onto the Xurkitree. That does a lot of damage. And Ninetales does go for the Roar, so no Trick Room being set up, but Shawn did make that read, so now he doesn't have to worry about Trick Room.
Right. I think that was a play where Remy really needed to like make the read and go for like Aurora there.
Yeah.
Because he already revealed Roar, and I mean Trick Room wasn't like a necessary option for him.
It's weird because it's just like it's slow, but like fast.
Yeah. I don't know. It was definitely like.
So it's like hard to.
It could have gone either.
Yeah, it's you know it's another one of those lovely 50-50s. You know, let's say in case he did go for he did get Trick Room up, that would have been pretty bad for Remy. So he just really doesn't want Trick Room to go up in this game, and you know you can't blame him for that because. But now it's not looking particularly great because this Xurkitree is going to get knocked out by a Dazzling Gleam. But at the same time, this P2 could set up a Trick Room now, so
exactly.
Anything is possible at this point. So let's see what's going to happen. So Tapu Koko is going to go for the taunt. The Xurkitree does not protect here, so if he goes for the Thunderbolt onto this... If it goes for a Thunderbolt onto this P2, it would have done a ton of damage, but instead it goes for a Dazzling Gleam. Does decent damage because of a crit, so if the P2 goes for a Trick Room, which I'm assuming is going to go, enhances the taunt onto the Ninetales. The Porygon2 does get it up, the Trick Room. So now, you know, we're looking at a somewhat similar situation to the first game, where it's going to be Muk P2 versus the World. But this Muk is, you know, it can still do a ton of damage to this. It can knock out this Ninetales. It can do a ton of damage to Xurkitree. So
yeah, no, I think Shawn is set up pretty well to just sweep with his Porygon and Muk.
Yep.
Like that Xurkitree is +2 now, has an extra trade, so he definitely has to target it. So like. I mean, all Ninetales can do here is Icy Wind, right?
Yeah.
He can pretty much ignore that.
Yeah, you can ignore that for now, but, you know...
I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna frickin' cry. I came here to have a good time, and I'm feeling attacked.
Alright, so Remy is taking his time here. Ninetales is going to get withdrawn this turn into the Garchomp, so Garchomp is going to be staring down that P2 and that Ice Beam onto the Garchomp. It does make that read. Is it enough to pick up a KO? It does not. The Invisible Focus Sash does activate, and Poison Jab onto the Xurkitree. Is it enough to pick up a KO? It is. So now it's over.
That was a great play from Shawn because Ninetales wasn't doing anything there.
Yeah.
He covered basically everything.
Yeah, Ninetales, the only thing Ninetales could have gone for is Icy Wind, and that's not really going to do anything in this.
Right.
So now Garchomp is going to die from its partner's hail, so this game is pretty much signed, sealed, and delivered for Shawn, who's going to move on to the finals here. Unless a miracle happened, but I don't see a Dragonite on the screen, so no miracles happening today.
Right.
I can't get rid of
So it looks like Shawn Tang is going to be facing off against Mitchell Davis from NorCal. You're from NorCal as well, right, Patrick?
That would be correct, yes.
Tell us about NorCal.
It's pretty awesome. Okay, so I think like what happened is basically Porygon was too much of a threat. I think Remy probably needed to bring his Mana Buzz because Taunt, if he had that, would have stopped Trick Room, and then
I feel like Tapu Lele could have been useful here, you know, to deal some damage against this type of Koko.
that's correct. Yeah.
You could have stepped it with Column Line, and
Yeah, he was probably afraid of the Muk. but-
yeah, that makes sense. But you know, he just didn't really have good with his Pichu, and Shawn capitalized on that, and you know, he was able to, and you know, return on the Pichu put on so much work in this game. So
Yeah, it was still a well played set by both players.
yeah, well, it was well played. You know, this is the SoCal midseason. You know, a lot of really good players like Patrick Smith, like James Eats.
That
Yeah,
0-3 start.
yeah. You know, sometimes you go 3, and sometimes you win a regional. But
Yeah, it's a coin flip.
it's a coin flip, exactly. So yeah,
I wish
Shawn-
I could win a regional on a coin flip.
But it does happen. So, you know, finals is going to happen very soon, guys. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.